Welcome back to Pioneer Farms. This is Philip. We are taking a look at the third hook that we make as part of our 1.0 class out here at Pioneer Farms, and that is an S hook. So we have made a coal rake, a spike hook, a J hook, and now we're making S hooks. These are great hooks if you need some easy chain, or you want something where you can have an adjustable length chain. If you leave these open, you can slip them on and off. These S hooks are great if you're trying to hang something over the fire, hang that up on the top, leave them open, and you can just add as many as you want in order to hang, say, your stew over an open fire. So great little hook to know how to make. Let's take a look at how we do it. Set that stuff to the side. I've got the final remaining piece of the 48 inches of 3/8 inch round stock that we started with. We're going to put this in the fire and start heating it up. So as this heats up, I'm going to talk to you about the method we're going to use to round this up. We're going to use something called the soar method, S-O-R. It stands for square octagon round. Anytime you're drawing steel out and you want to eventually go round, you always start by drawing square first. There's a couple reasons for that. One is, in theory, you could knock a little bit of steel over if you're drawing it out round, not notice it, and then as you continue rounding, that piece of steel will stretch out, become very thin, very sharp. When you quench it, it'll pop up a little bit and you've got a razor blade on your piece of steel. Not something we'd be real happy about. The second reason, and I think probably the more common and important reason, is it's very easy when you're drawing something out square to tell whether or not you've got an even square. It is very hard to tell if you've got something that's perfectly round or if it's an oval. So if we draw it out square, make sure that's good and square, take it to an even octagon, and then to round, we'll wind up with a much more consistently round piece. All right, we've got it good and hot. We're going to bring it here to the anvil. Same thing we've been doing on all of our other hooks. We're going to come to the edge, half on, half off blows. We're going to put a point on there. Since this is going to make a little curl, we're going to take it out nice and fine. And then we're going to draw this whole piece back. And again, what I'm looking for here is an even flat taper from my point all the way back to the parent stock size. It's starting to look pretty good there. This is definitely a little cool, so I'm going to put it back in the fire. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think next heat we're going to take this and we're going to start putting an octagon in it. All right, we've got this hot. I'm going to bring it to the anvil. I'm going to put it on the diamond so it's resting on one of the edges. Start in the back with some heavy hammer blows, and then lighten them up as I move forward. What I'm looking for here is trying to make all of the faces of this relatively even. The more even my octagon is, the more even my round will be. And that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to come in now, starting at the tip, just working my way backwards, hammering all along the length. One thing a circle doesn't have is corners. So anywhere where I see a corner or an edge, I'm going to try and go in and just hammer that flat. I'm only trying to move the surface of the steel, so working down into a black heat here is okay. This is actually a technique called planishing. By planishing, all you're doing is trying to move the very surface of the steel just to smooth things out. It looks pretty good. If I really wanted to get this smooth, then the next step would be to take it with a file or go to a grinder and really smooth that up. But for one of these little S hooks, I am happy with how round that is. So we are going to flip this around. Heat up the other end and draw that out as well and make it round. All right, we've got that good and hot. Again, to the edge of the anvil, blows half on, half off the face. Turn it every couple hits to get a nice point on there. Once we've got that point on there, bring it to the middle of the anvil, and let's draw it out. We can see we've got a couple bumps in here, not very even, so I'm going to turn it on its side. Hammer those smooth, and that's looking a lot nicer. And so as I flip it, that's kind of what I'm looking for, right? If I see where I've got a bump here, an uneven angle, then I'm going to put that side down, give it a couple taps, and just smooth all that out. This is looking pretty good. Let's put it back in the fire. We'll take another heat on it and we'll round it up. All right, we've got a good heat there. Once again, putting it on its corner, just hammering down, softer blows as we get to the tip, harder blows in the back where it's thicker. I'm just trying to make a nice even octagon. It can be a bit of a struggle to see that octagon while this is hot, so as it cools down you'll get a better look at it. It's looking pretty good to me though, so I'm going to start rounding this up. Try and use the last of the heat we've got here. All right, let's take a look at this. I didn't do any measurements, so it looks like I got this side a little bit longer than I did this side. That's not going to be a big problem. But if you did want to make sure they're even, a great way to do that is decide that you're going to draw out, say, from the edge of your anvil to the far side of your hardy hole. You're going to take that much material and draw it all the way to the other end of your anvil. You can use spots on your anvil as a way to measure things relative to each other, even if you're not taking precise absolute measurements. Let's get this end hot though that we are working on. We're going to go in and we're going to put the S shape there. So back into the fire. Good and hot once again. We're going to come here, tap it around, put a nice little curl on there. Into the quench tub we go. Cool that off to the horn on the anvil. Tap that around. Start working that into our S shape. I'm going to take this a little bit further here. There we go. So we've got one side done. Let's flatten this out. And we will work on the other side. got our heat. We're going to come in here. Tap it around. Get our little curl. Quench it. Hammer it. It looks like what I've done is accidentally made both of these on the same side. That is a common problem I wind up having, but easy to fix. I also have somewhat uneven loops, but once again, not a problem. So we're going to heat this up, and we're going to go back to the old blacksmith's fix-it of putting a twist in there in order to get our S-hook. One of the things I see beginners worry about a lot is getting stuff on the wrong side. If you're working with round stock, or if you've got an excuse to put a decorative twist in it, having stuff not lined up is not really a terrible problem. Just drop that in there, grab it with the tongs, twist it, now it's a little more S-shaped. I'm going to take one more heat on this now that I've got some space, and I'm going to open that other hook up a little bit more so they're not quite so different in size. All right, so we've got a problem where this hook is a little too small. In order to fix that, we're going to bring it here to the horn of the anvil, put it on the anvil, and give it some blows back down the length of the anvil. Then we'll hold it over the edge, and I'm going to hammer on the unsupported piece of this. Flatten that up a little bit, take another heat on it. And I think I'm going to leave this side open a little bit so that I can slip something in there and hang it. But you can see, right, we wound up both of them on the same side, one loop smaller than it should have been, and very easy to fix that with a twist and then just working it back on the horn of the anvil in order to open it up. And we've got a pretty good looking S-hook, if I do say so myself. Thank you guys for sticking with us through 4 videos. This completes everything that we do in the 1.0 class out here at Pioneer Farms. In the next set of videos, we'll take a look at our 2.0 class where we learn upsetting and forge welding, as well as some team striking with sledgehammers, punching, and drifting. See you guys then. If you are interested in taking this class with us, we'll put a link to the Pioneer Farms website and the link below. We'll also link to where we get our metal from, Metals for You, as well as the exact dimensions on and lengths on all the steel that we're using. If you have any questions, please drop a note in the comments and we'll be taking a look for those. Thank you very much.